Welcome back to the channel, everybody. You're watching The Real Freddie G, and today we're making one of my favorites, the fried chicken sandwich. So this chicken sandwich is pretty famous around the world. Everyone's been vying for whose is better or not. You have Chick-fil-A and Popeyes, they're all going at each other. Mine is close, but I honestly think mine's better. I do things a little bit differently. I don't use just mayonnaise and pickles. Mine has both Buttermilk Ranch and buffalo sauce to go on top. It's wicked. It's that classic wings flavor when you go to have chicken wings. And you get it all in one sandwich. And the bonus, it's boneless. All right, everyone. I don't think this sandwich needs any more introduction. If you guys think that this sandwich can beat the other contenders around the world, let me know in the comments. If not, I'll see if we can do better next time.
All right, everyone. Here's what we need for today. All these ingredients are going to be going into the final dish. Now, I'm not quite the colonel, but I do have my very own 11 herbs and spices. All the ingredients are going to be listed in the description down below, so let's just get to it. We want to make sure that all of these ingredients are mixed thoroughly, because when we start putting them in the flour here, we don't want any big lumps of paprika or salt or anything like that. And again, with the flour, mix the flour and the spice rub thoroughly so we're not getting any pockets without seasoning. Okay, so onto the marination of the chicken. So I've got 6 chicken thighs here. We're going to go in with our buttermilk, and then after the buttermilk, we're also going to go in with a little bit of hot sauce. I'm using Frank's in this particular instance, but you can use anything you want. Just make sure it's vinegar based. And then we're going in with that heaped tablespoon of the spice rub from earlier, and make sure you guys give this a good thorough mix. I'm using my hands. You can use your tongs, fork, whatever. Just make sure it's all the way seasoned and covered by the buttermilk. Now onto my favorite part here is this Buttermilk Ranch. So we've got sour cream and mayonnaise. I've just thrown in the chives and the dill, some lemon juice here, and then after that we're going to be going in with some salt and some garlic powder. I like using garlic powder in this recipe. You can obviously use fresh garlic. I just think garlic powder works better for this one. Now we don't call it Buttermilk Ranch for nothing. We're going to go in here with a cup of buttermilk, and then once that's there, we're going to mix the whole thing through. I add black pepper afterwards. You could obviously put it before. I just forgot to put it in. And I'm using fresh cracked black pepper. If you already have pre-milled, that works just as well. But just like everything else in this video, make sure it's all mixed thoroughly. It'll just result in a better product at the end. On to probably the easiest part of this recipe is the buffalo sauce. I'm using a pot here. You can do this in a microwave, and it's just equal parts butter and Frank's red hot sauce. I'm just getting this up to the heat right now, and once it's all amalgamated, take it off the heat and right into a fridge. Now let's go down to the pickles. This is my quick pickle recipe. So these are not canning pickles. These are not meant to last a long time and be shelf stable. I just do these if I'm going to be using these pickles within the next 2 to 3 days. So we have salt, pepper, sugar, vinegar, and water in that pot. We want to make sure it just gets up to the boil. Once that boil hits, we take it off and we pour it over our pickles. I'm using cucumbers, dill, and garlic here. And you know, once that's heated through, I let it cool down for about an hour, and they're good to use. So now this little trick here that I do with my dredge is I put in a couple tablespoons of the buttermilk marinade for the chicken and whisk it through. And what that does, it causes these little nuggets here that become the nooks and crannies on the chicken later.
So this is the best way you can get set up for frying. You have your resting rack here, because a lot of times when you're frying chicken or any sort of fried food, if you just put it on a plate, it's going to get soggy just from all the steam that it's creating. So we put it on here. It's got air ventilation underneath. there's no chance of it steaming out. I have the chicken here ready in the brine. We have the dredge ready to go, and the oil here is sitting at around 330 degrees. So what's going to happen is we're going to put the chicken in the dredge, make sure the whole thing is coated. We don't want any bald spots in there because it causes a burn in the chicken. Fry it for 3 to 5 minutes. These are smaller chicken thighs. If you have bone-in thighs or any sort of bone-in meat, it's going to take a lot longer. But the internal temp we're looking for this chicken is around 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's get started. We're going to take our chicken out. This has been sitting in the fridge now for about 6 hours. We're going to let that marinade go in real nice. Give it a good dredge. You can do this with your hands, obviously. I just choose to do it with the fork so I don't get all messed up here. Make sure every part of that chicken is covered by the dredge. And that little trick we did earlier with putting the brine in with the dredge, what that does is going to cause those nice nooks and crannies that we love in fried chicken. So I'm just making sure that none of this here is left bald. We don't want any of that. All you're going to do now, get rid of all the excess flour, and slowly and away from you, you're going to put that in the fry oil, right? And in we go. So with the pot size that I'm doing, I can go with 2, max 3. You don't want to overcrowd your pot because all that's going to do is possibly cause you a trip from the fire department, and we don't want that. I had my oil in here at about halfway up the pot. Don't fill it more than that, or you give chance for it to overflow. And again, we don't need that happening. I'm going to go with the second one here. I'm just going to do 2, and this is going to go in 3 different phases. So once I've let the chicken start frying for about a minute or so, what I like to do, this is a spider, right? What I like to do is just make sure it's not stuck to the bottom. Just give it a little bit of a turn in the oil so we don't get any burn spots on it, right? So as you can see here, after the initial drop of the chicken into the oil, all those bubbles have gone down for the most part. We're just going to let this fry for another, I'd say maybe 2-3 minutes. And as you can see all those nice craggly bits in there? That's what we were looking for. That's what the point of putting that batter in the dredge was for, to get all these nice nooks and crannies. Okay, so it's been in around 4 or 5 minutes now, and that's what we want, that nice beautiful golden color. I've temped this, sitting at 170 Fahrenheit. So we're going to just come over here, bring it over to the resting rack. Just going to make sure we get a little bit more salt on top. Not too much because you already have it in the dredge and the batter, so just a little bit on top and that's it. We'll let that dry, and then once it's ready to go for the sandwich, we'll start topping that. I just wanted y'all to hear this. That's what we're looking for. All right, everybody, the moment we've all been waiting for. We're gonna build this thing. So I've got a brioche bun here that I've toasted. And the way we're gonna go with this is ranch that we made earlier on the bottom. This is not a healthy sandwich, so don't try and make it that way. It's an indulgent one. You're gonna have this once in a while, and that's about it. So ranch on the top and bottom. We're gonna go with 2 of these chicken thighs here. And that buffalo sauce. You can toss it like with the buffalo sauce, but the only thing I don't like doing with that is that crispiness that you've been trying to achieve this whole time kind of goes away. So I like to just drizzle a little bit over top. You can put as much as you want, obviously, but I'm just putting a little bit here. And then those lovely quick pickles that we did earlier. Make sure you don't get any of those peppercorns in your sandwich. It's going to be a very bad surprise for you if you bite into one of those. And that's it. The Buffalo Ranch fried chicken sandwich. So, I mean, this thing's just sitting here. I definitely have to get into it. It's gonna be messy, so please don't make fun of me for it. Oh man. Because of that buttermilk brine that we had sitting in, That chicken is so soft, so tender. That dredge, it's become super crispy now. And like I said earlier about not tossing the buffalo sauce with the chicken, you still get that crispiness, you still get the flavor of the buffalo sauce. Right up against the nice tanginess of the ranch, as well as the tanginess of the pickles. Everything just works together super, super well. It's a very rich dish, but with all these tangy accompaniments, it melts correctly together. Anyways guys, that's it for today's video. If you guys like this content, like and subscribe so you guys don't miss out on any of my future weekly recipes. And until next time, this is the real Freddie G saying to you, dinner is Freddy. See you.